From selling chocolates and candies on the streets of Accra, Ghana as a 5-year-old to becoming an entrepreneur in the United States. From a teenager who had once lost his ways to someone becoming a millionaire at 25. The life of one of our clients, Jeff Badu, has been a success story in itself. Hi, today we will be interviewing Jeff Badu, CPA, based in Chicago, Illinois, and the owner of Badu Tax Services LLC, which is a part of his multinational conglomerate, Badu Enterprises LLC. He also owns Badu Investments LLC, a real estate investment company that acquires real estate properties in efforts to restore traditionally underserved areas. Jeff attended Uplift Community High School in Uptown and started his first business plan as an 18-year-old during his freshman year at the University of Illinois. He formed a client base by volunteering to do taxes for family and friends while he still went to school. By the time he was 24, he built his client base to 100 and quit his full-time job at PwC to start his own firm in 2016. Badu Tax Services LLC serves 1,500 clients coming from all 50 states of the United States and even Canada. For a matter of fact, the client base has simply doubled in the past year, and Jeff credits this to his decision of hiring offshore staff. So let's hear it from Jeff himself about what he thinks of his partnership with Entigrity.
Yeah, so my name is Jeff Badu. I'm a licensed certified public accountant. I'm a parallel entrepreneur as well as a serial multiplier. And I'm the founder and CEO of Badu Enterprises LLC, which hosts a suite of financial services companies, the main one being Badu Tax Services, which is a tax firm that specializes in tax preparation, tax planning, and tax representation services for individuals and businesses. Essentially, just a little bit of background about how I got there. I was born and raised in Ghana and essentially moved to the United States when I was 8 years old. And when I was 16, fast forward to when I was 16, I went through a pretty rough childhood, I would say. But when I was 16 was when I discovered my purpose in life, which is to inspire and support the super hungry to take hold of infinite resources in order to create an abundant lifestyle. After discovering that purpose, I decided to do more research on the accounting industry. I took a survey when I was a senior in high school, and that's what made me or led me into the accounting field. I started watching YouTube videos, and eventually I got accepted into the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, where I studied accountancy. And I built my first business plan, which is my tax firm, Badu Tax Services. And I started building a business plan, was doing taxes on the side, was able to accumulate about 100 clients by 2016. I was also working at a Big Four public accounting firm at the time. But when I was on September 2016, I turned in my 2-week notice and launched my firm full-time. And now we are at over 1,500 clients across all 50 states in the US and 7 different countries actually. And we're a multi-million-dollar company at the moment. I would say no, I did not actually look into any other services before working with Entigrity. So yeah, I actually did not do any sort of research around offshore accounting. So the reason why I hired Entigrity was because Entigrity met the 3 criteria. First one being that the company works in the accounting industry. As an accounting firm, I'm looking for competent people who know accounting and can provide the various accounting services that my firm needs. So that was definitely one. The second one would be data confidentiality and security. Extremely important for me, and being a CPA, owning a CPA firm, that data confidentiality be taken very, very seriously. Thirdly would be good staff members. And then I was evaluating a few companies as I was doing more research, and Entigrity definitely would score just about 100 on a scale of 100. And the next best option would probably score 20. So I would say we are a very tax-heavy firm that's We're based in Chicago. We're primarily based in Chicago, but we are a very digital and virtual firm. We have clients in all 50 states at the moment. We even have some clients that are overseas. So being that we are a firm like this, we do have a lot of small clients, some large clients as well, but we do have quite a large number of small clients who come in right at the last minute usually. So I hired a tax senior as well as a tax associate. My first year working with Entigrity, I only had a tax associate. Then my second year, I hired a tax senior on top of that. So I had 2 staff members now, which reduced dependency, created a lot of efficiency, and it basically gave me the comfort that I can have competent people preparing tax returns, and I would just have to go in, review the returns, and get everything done. So overall, it was a great experience. Meaning that I needed both of them to work full time during tax season, and part time, perhaps maybe 10 hours or so per week outside of the season, which I definitely enjoyed the flexible nature of the staff. When you're hiring a staff in the US, for example, they may demand 40 hours a week, every single week for the entire year. But over here, it's a pretty flexible environment. I basically got to choose when the staff work. But yeah, I basically didn't want the person to work for me or the person to change every single year. So with that, I'm still the same person that I had 2 years ago is still with me working now. And the person that I hired a year ago is still with me working now. So I don't need to train. I don't need to revamp the wheel. As soon as we get started with tax season, we're just on the go, and we're on a run. And yeah, with Entigrity, I have some staff available full time every tax season. I can hire as many as I want. Our firm is growing, over 1,500 clients now. We're expected to hit 3,000 clients next year. So we definitely need some manpower, and then 10,000 clients within the next 5 years. So probably would definitely need some more staff to handle that type of volume. Yeah, so one thing about my firm is that we do run 365 days a year. So we're always open, but our peak season is during tax season, January through April and sometimes May. So really before Entigrity, I didn't really have any staff. I actually was doing everything by myself. I was entering the tax returns by myself, everything essentially by myself. So having somebody who's able to take that load off my shoulders, entering the data, definitely saves me quite a lot of time. Had I had to hire somebody else outside of Entigrity, let's say somebody who's local here in the US, I would have to hire a new person probably for tax season every single year. I would also have to invest time in training them, and mostly college graduates usually are the only affordable ones. And nowadays, they're not even all that affordable anymore because of minimum wage and all that good stuff in the US. Yeah, and if I wanted the same person for next tax season, I would have to pay them full time. They would probably demand full pay outside of tax season, which definitely doesn't make sense, especially since we're much busier during tax season. And it slows down tremendously as far as the data entry and the type of service for tax preparation outside of tax season. So it wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense to hire somebody full time. I needed something flexible where I can increase during the peak season and then reduce it as things slow down. So this was definitely a very good and flexible environment for me. And yeah, with Entigrity, the problem of sporadic nature of workflow and seasonality is taken care of. It's very well, nicely set up. There aren't really any commitments or any long-term contracts or anything of that nature. It's simply you need somebody to work a set amount of hours during a given week, and they go ahead and work it. They offer great flexibility for smaller firms that are tax-heavy, such as myself, and I think we'll be working with Entigrity for the existence of the firm, the entire existence of my firm. Yeah, so my offshore staff can handle pretty much anything. They can handle admin role, client follow-ups, billing, even 5 to 6 other tasks that are generally perceives that these people can't do. So they're very well trained and well versed in the admin, the data entry, even reviewing tax returns. That's something they can definitely do. Now we are outside of tax season, and I realize that more work can be allocated, such as accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, sales tax, downloading clients' bank statements, following up with them via email, organizing documents, and services of that nature. In a nutshell, my offshore team is my team that can do 90% of the tasks that my office team can do. And for me, my rule in life is if someone can do something 80% as good as I can, then I'm going to pass it to them. So I'm using an 80-20 rule here, where if they can do 80% as good as I can, then I'm going to give them that task as long as I give them detailed instructions and they take it from there, which frees up my workload to focus more on the strategy-related aspect of the business, the notion working on the business as opposed to in the business. So today the situation is that both my offshore staff are working full-time all around the year, despite having the flexibility that I could hire just part-time, and I still have them work for us full-time. So I can pick and choose how they work. If there's a heavy workload, let's say a big bookkeeping client comes in, I can essentially have them working full-time. Maybe if things slow down, then I would have them working part-time. So during non-season, I started by giving overflowing work. By now, they have taken responsibility for more core work and have integrated with my in-house team here. So overall, I mean, they're very well versed in what we do. I mean, they can probably tell you, the firm, what we do better than anybody else can outside of myself. They're very, very well versed with the workflow. And if anything, they can probably run the firm if possibly. Yeah, so as with anything in life, when somebody's starting new, there will be some hand-holding. There's definitely training and education. There's patience. You need to be patient in this process. So there was definitely initial hand-holding, which is required for all kinds of staff, regardless of local or offshore, whether it's an intern, experience, even the partners of CPA firms have to go through training and go through some hand-holding. Because you have to be familiar with the process. Even if you're a tax guru, you might not know that this is the way that things are specifically handled at a specific firm. So the staff hired already knew the software. So we use a specific tax software, and the staff already knew about it. And I made sure that when I was interviewing the staff, that they knew how to handle the software. They needed to give time to settle in. So they definitely needed time to get settled in to the work environment, the time differences, things of that nature, and just understanding all the protocols of our office. We do things very differently than a lot of CPA firms. We're a very virtual firm, we're very flexible, but we do things very differently. So our staff had to get used to the point where I actually created a document that essentially walks them through. So my coach helped me, and he said, well, why not just create a document that can lay out all the flows or the workflows and the different tasks of a remote staff. That way they can just read it, and if they have any questions, they can ask you. And they have this document on their screen at all times, just to remind them. We also created a best practice list, for example. These are challenges that you will go through, but my advice is to really lay it all out on paper, have a process workflow, standard operating manual of some sort. And yeah, there has to be a learning curve, no matter what. If I do something new, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to learn from those mistakes. And if I have documents that are laid out to show me what to do, then it will be better for me. So experience of working together has helped my staff improve and learn and grow with them. So now they know everything. They know how a tax return starts, all the way from when the tax return finishes, and even our follow-up system with the client. So they've even learned some of the strategy-related stuff that we handle with the clients, although not necessary. The key here is they know how to do the work, and their learning curve has improved. I would say I didn't necessarily experience a language barrier per se, because I interviewed the staff. I had an option to interview different people. And to my surprise, the English was actually pretty good. English was really good, and everything that I said, they understood, they responded back. So I picked the best candidates. For me, language is definitely important. I'm one of the best examples. I grew up like that with people from multiple cultures. I'm originally from Ghana, so back in the day, I actually didn't really speak English that well. But over time, I learned, and I learned how to become a better communicator. So never truly had a preconceived notion that people living in the different parts of the world are not capable. I thought it would be challenging, but I never had the perception that they wouldn't necessarily be capable. Because if you're working with US-based CPA firms, it's expected you know how to speak English. The fact that this would be some sort of barrier, I don't think it should be, because there has to be pre-expectations. There has to be expectations of some sort. Although there might not be perfect English, spot on US-based English, it's still very understandable to the point where the work can get done. For me, that's what it's all about. Can the work get done in a quality and timely manner? And they definitely demonstrated that. I'm not someone who judges people, especially on the basis of their accent or belief system. My belief is that if you can get the work done efficiently and effectively, then we can work all day, every day. Yeah, so there have been no inherent changes as such. I've realized that an offshore staff is a lot similar to an office staff. So really, our firm has grown actually 3 times in terms of revenue. So our firm has exploded tremendously in revenue. Let's say from last year compared to this year, we're already up 3 times. Profitability has also grown about 3 times. We're a very profitable firm because of the fact that we're utilizing remote staff, so it cuts down on overhead tremendously. So we have grown in terms of clients and workforce. Client base a year ago was at 750. Now we're at over 1,500. We've doubled the client base, tripled the revenue because we had price increases and we're adding more value to our clients. Workforce has also grown without having full-time US-based employees. Now we have more people to look after work, and we can spend more time with family and personal time. I'm somebody who truly values personal time. I get about 8 hours of sleep every single night. And when I did not have remote staff, those amount of hours was cut tremendously, cut down to about 5 to 6. Now that I do have remote staff, I can sleep comfortably about 8 hours every single night. So after all, success is not about earning money, but enjoying what you're doing. And the remote staff definitely helped me enjoy what we're doing. And as a bonus, we're also earning more money by becoming more profitable. I would say Entigrity is now my partner. I even tell people that, hey, we have an office that's based outside of the U.S. now. That's how serious I view Entigrity. I view Entigrity as an extension of my firm. We will stay associated definitely in the foreseeable future. I believe my firm will exist until the world blows up, and Entigrity will be a partner for as long as the firm is in existence. I recommend Entigrity to all the small accounting firms who are facing challenges in staffing, growing their practice. Prime example for me, I'm someone who was facing those challenges. How do I scale? How do I grow? Now I don't see any limit. Somebody asked me the question yesterday, well, don't you need more people? Don't you need to hire more people to handle the work? And I said yes and no, because we have the team capable. Or basically they said, will there be a limit to when you guys will stop growing. And I said, absolutely not. When you have people or groups such as Entigrity, when you have the type of staff that we do have, there is no limit to how many clients we can get, because we're always being efficient, effective with time, money, all that good stuff. So definitely recommend Entigrity to any small accounting firm looking to grow and scale their business. Those who haven't explored offshore staffing, it's definitely time for you to look into one, especially before tax season. Perfect time to really start looking into one. And we are living in a global community today, and you just can't limit your options. It's nice to have US-based staff that you can see and you can hear and everything, but when you have remote staff that you can still see, maybe virtually, and you can still hear virtually, and it's at a much lower cost, and it's usually, to me, I've seen even more effective work. It's a no-brainer, truly.